Hey guys, what's up? Bargainman Hobo here. You, my friends, are watching Captain Algebra, aka da 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 Math Man!
Alright, next up we got the Super Nintendo, which I believe I did beat 15 games for. First one, Final Fight. I love beat 'em ups, and I want to love this game, but man is it unfair at times. The amount of damage you take from certain attacks, and there's some that you lose more than half your health if you get hit once by it. So I think they basically, they wanted to take the arcade version and, port it, but they gotta remember, tone down the difficulty a little bit, or give you more continues and stuff. So I played a while back, couldn't get through it, kept dying at Abigail. And then I saw Mega Dan beat it. I was like, okay, I need to sit down and beat it too. And I did. It wasn't a one credit clear. I lost one continue, but that was it. And it felt damn good to beat that game. There's so much to like about it. The moves are awesome. It sounds good. But it's brutal. Next, we got Soul Blazer. This one I wanted for a long time, ever since I saw Nefarious West stream it a few years ago. And it is a very, very fun action RPG. Basically, in each area, you kill all the enemies, and then that portal will open up, and when you step on it, it'll either open, give you something, or it'll create a building back in the old town, or create a person that was missing. It's really, really good. I highly suggest it. And then since I played that, I had to play the sequel, Illusion of Gaia. Another great action RPG. I don't know which one I like more. They're both very, very good. I thought Soul Blazer a little more repetitive than Illusion of Gaia, so I might like that one a little bit more, but honestly, they're both fantastic games. And unfortunately, we did not get Terranigma over here in the US, so maybe I'll have to get a repro cart, because I kind of want to finish that unofficial trilogy. Then we've got Rival Turf. This is one of the first games that Mega Dan and I played for Mega Powers Monthly, and we didn't beat it. We got very close. I was like, I gotta play it. It's just a super goofy, weird game. It feels kind of broken at times, but if you use jump attacks and dash attacks, you're gonna get through it pretty easily. But man, watch the animations and the sounds. It's hilarious. Then we've got Chuck Rock. Pretty good game. I've had this for a while. I was in a kind of a Super Nintendo mood when I was playing through Rival Turf and Illusion of Gaia and stuff like that. And so I just grabbed Chuck Rock off the shelf one night and beat it. Isn't too bad. No continues, but once you learn the location of enemies and stuff, it's really not too hard of a game. Next, we've got RoboCop versus Terminator. Another game I just grabbed one night off the shelf and wanted to play it. I had a lot of fun with it. There are some annoying parts. Enemies' invincibility frames, as well as their respawn rates, can kind of screw you over at times. But other than that, the game wasn't too bad. None of the boss fights are really that hard. But I have seen footage of the Genesis version, and it makes me really want that one, because that looks awesome. So much better than the Super Nintendo game. Next, we've got Prince of Persia. This was one of the $20 challenges from Telesplash Gaming. He sent me and some other YouTubers some games that we needed to beat, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. When I first played it, I was not crazy about the control style, but once you get used to it, it's a lot of fun trying to figure out the levels and how to attack enemies and stuff. And some of the later levels, there's a lot to it. So basically, kind of what I would do, because you only have a certain amount of time to beat the game. I think it's an hour or 60 minutes of game time. And so a lot of times what I would do is I would learn the level, and you get a password after every level. So I would learn the level, and then I'd reset my Super Nintendo, re-enter the password, and then do that level as fast as I could, so that I didn't have to worry about running out of time. And it's pretty fun. Next, we're going to go with Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose.
I wonder if this is the final boss or not. I wouldn't think. It's got to be a harder boss than that, right? It's probably going to make me dash again to get out. Is that it? Well, there's Babs.
This was requested by my buddy Spirit Wolf Gaming for Request Tuesday. I grew up with Buster's Hidden Treasure on the Genesis. This plays very similar to it. It's a lot of fun. There's a level that's really annoying. I don't know, is it the train level? Where the train's moving and you have to dash and stuff. That gets kind of tough, but overall it's a pretty easy game. And next, for Star Wars month, I streamed a bunch of Star Wars games. did play through Super Empire Strikes Back.
Get the fuck out of here, Vader. Suck those nuts.
This is definitely the worst game in that series. I love them all, but man, that one's just kind of annoying, more than anything. You know, the other 2 games in the series feels like you can just kind of figure out how to get through everything, and this one you just kind of have to struggle through it and just keep trying and trying and trying. But glad to get it done. So once I beat that, we went on to Super Return of the Jedi.
Can I just not have to rotate anymore? Can you just escape? Finally.
Love this game. It's probably objectively the best game in the series. It's the most refined. I hated the escape at the end. I died so many times. It got super annoying, but overall it's a really good game. I love Star Wars. Those games are notoriously difficult, but if you sit down and play them, you'll get through them. Next we got Yoshi's Safari. So a while back I bought a Super Nintendo collection from my buddy and it had a Super Scope. I didn't have a CRT to try if the Super Scope worked. So I finally, like, I got my CRT from Gaming Off the Grid, let's try this. And it's like, oh, let's play Yoshi's Safari. Sat down, played it all the way through. It's a lot of fun. Not difficult at all. Just a really fun game. Next we've got Super Mario World Return to Dinosaur Land.
The game?
And so this is a repro, or a hack that is basically a sequel to Super Mario World, and it is amazing. Way better than Yoshi's Island. So much better than that. It's so much fun. I could not get enough of this game. If you like Super Mario World, you need to get this hack. And one more Super Nintendo game I don't actually own the cart, and that is Dracula Act.
Oh, there we go. Boom! Why the hell did I not think of that before?
So Mega Dan let me borrow that for October Spooktacular, and that game's phenomenal. It kind of gets a bad rap because it's not Rondo of Blood, but it's an amazing game. Don't compare it to Rondo of Blood, just play it, it's its own thing, and it's really good. And the last Super Nintendo game I beat was Darius Twin. So one night I didn't know what I wanted to stream, so I decided to stream a Super Nintendo shooter, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of interesting. All the enemies are like aquatic animals, you know, like fish and seahorses, stuff like that. Gets a little bit difficult. There's, I think, multiple pathways if I remember correctly. But it's a good game. Fun shooter. Definitely suggest it. Next, we got the Sega Genesis, which I beat 15 games for. First one, we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Ooh, good hit. Boom! Sit your ass down.
This is a fighting game. It's pretty decent, not too difficult, and I'm terrible at fighting games. It's cool that you can unlock Tommy the Green Ranger, but I don't like any of his attacks. I think they're all like charge attacks where you have to like hold a button for a certain amount of time. I didn't like that, but it's a pretty solid game. And we got Golden Axe 3. So another game we did not get over here in the US, but when I went to Mo Game Con, I won a trivia contest or game show, and one of the prizes was 3 repro games. One of them was Golden Axe 3. I've beaten the first 2. I want to try this one. This one's cool because it's got multiple pathways, it's got multiple endings. So I kind of have to go back and do more of the paths and more of the endings, but it's a really good beat 'em up. Probably the best game in the series. Next we got Lion King.
Get out. There we go. Suck these nuts.
You know how much I hate this, Peter. But it came up for Genesis A to Z, played through it. Obviously, since I played through the Super Nintendo version, this was much easier. I actually knew what I was doing, so I didn't take 2.5 hours on the final level of fighting Scar. But it's not as bad as I make it sound. You just gotta learn it. Then we've got Jewel Master.
That it, or is there a second form?
This game was a lot of fun. You get different rings put on your hands, and each different combination gives you a different kind of attack power. And you get more powered up rings as you go. Super fun. I actually did a no-death run of this afterwards. Obviously the greatest game I played all year. Barbie Supermodel.
$6,070. Yay!
No, this is not a good game. You're basically teaching Barbie to be a supermodel, and you drive your car to practice your routine, and then you drive back to actually do the routine, and that's it. You can die. I didn't, but it's not great. Next, we got Arch Rivals.
On buzzer beater. Ah, damn it.
It's a pretty fun arcade basketball game. There's not really a way to beat this game. It's just one single game at a time. And I think I played like 4 games of it. Each time I got a higher score. So I was like, you know what? We're going to consider this a just beat it. So definitely more fun playing it co-op, but it's still a pretty good game. Next, we got Forgotten World.
Do we do it? Oh, fuck yeah.
So this is a really cool shooter. I didn't know it was an arcade game, but it's cool. So one button rotates you one way, another button rotates you the other way. That took a little while to get used to, but it's a fun game. Final level is a bitch, but if you grab as much, I think, is it Zennies, something like that. That's the currency. If you make sure you save that up and really spend it on the important stuff, you'll be fine. Next, we got Fatal Labyrinth.
We did it!
Which is a really cool, actually, RPG. So basically, you attack by running into enemies, and obviously it's kind of like a roll of a die, where if you might miss, you might hit them and stuff, but they can poison you and stuff. You find different canes that each do something different, but I think I heard that every playthrough is different, so I made sure I wrote down what each cane did, each color. Some help you, some don't. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad I played through that one. If Barbie's not the best game I played this year, it's got to be this. Great Waldo Search.
There you go.
You can beat this game in 10 minutes, even on the hardest difficulty setting. It's just finding Waldo. Great for kids, but if you're an adult, you're probably not going to want to play it. This is definitely the game I was most excited. It's the first game I beat in 2021. It was huge on my list. Streets of Rage 3. I love the Streets of Rage series. It's one of my favorite series video games. But Streets of Rage 3 was always really tough. I played it on Sega Channel growing up at my uncle's, but that was it. And it kind of got expensive, so I was fortunate to grab a nice complete in-box copy for pretty cheap a couple years ago. But it's a tough game. Basically, the enemies have really huge health bars, especially bosses, so it's kind of like a war of attrition. But like most games, you just learn it, you practice it, you get good. I can't remember if I've done a 1cc of it or not, but I beat it 3 times. Unfortunately, my first time was not on stream. I tried and I failed. I beat it off stream, but then I did beat it on stream, and then I beat it on stream again with Mega Dan. We beat it co-op, which is actually even more difficult co-op, so that was really cool to do. But I probably suggest playing Bare Knuckle 3 instead of Streets of Rage 3, but it's still a good game. Next was Michael Jackson Moonwalker.
Got him!
This game is phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. Great music. The sound chip for the Genesis actually does a nice job with Michael Jackson music. I unfortunately do not have the version with Thriller in it. So if you do, and you want to trade, I will gladly trade my cart for the one with Thriller on it, because I really want that. Next we got Haunting starring Poltergeist.
Let's go!
This was, again, for October Spooktacular. And this is a fun game. You go around trying to scare this family out of their houses because they basically cause you to die. And the animations are hilarious. The only problem is the final boss. It's kind of bullshit. But you learn the best way to attack it and you'll be fine. Next we got Mickey Mania.
That's it. Game over.
This game was really cool. I like how they kind of went through all the different, or like the early Mickey Mouse movies. I think there's 5 films that they went through. Pretty fun. I have tried the Super Nintendo version, and that game is much worse. The screen is kind of zoomed in, and the screen does this kind of like slide action as you're moving. Makes it really hard. Next was a childhood game, American Gladiators. I finally sat down and played it. I played a ton as a kid, but I never could make it all the way through. Like I'd get to the Eliminator and just, I think the controls are like, you basically have to like hit A, B, and C as fast as you can. And that was just kind of tough for me to do as a kid. and I finally was able to do it, beat the whole game, and it's not great, but it was a childhood game, so I was glad to knock that one out. And then last Genesis game, Mercs.
It's got to be more, right? That can't be the final boss. Holy shit, it was!
This is a fantastic run and gun shooter. Based off an arcade game, there's actually 2 modes on here. I think it's an original mode and arcade mode. I beat one on stream, I beat the other one the next day. Very, very fun game. If you have a Genesis, you gotta get Mercs. Alright, next we got the NES, the second to last system we're gonna talk about. On the NES, I beat 21 games, I believe that was. First one we got is Paperboy. So this is another game I saw Mega Dan beat. I was like, I'm going to sit down and actually beat Paperboy. We did it for the Weekly Retro Challenge years ago, and I actually took first place in that challenge because I had the most points, but I did not actually beat the game. I didn't make it through the entire week. Finally sat down and did it. It was pretty fun. And again, for Star Wars month, we got Star Wars.
There we go! Yes!
Grew up with this game and absolutely loved it, but I was never able to beat it. Finally sat down and did it, and that felt so good. Such a fun game. If you like Star Wars, you gotta play it. And now, for the loose games, first we got Karate Kid. You know how much I love LJN. I had to sit down and beat more LJN games, so finally sat down and played Karate Kid. It's really not that bad. It takes a while to get used to. The last level can be kind of annoying, but it's not bad. And we got Tailspin. So Eugene Myers was streaming this one night, and I was like, this game looks fun. I'm gonna actually sit down and finally play it. Got it done in less than an hour. It's really not that bad. It's a pretty fun shooter. I like the mechanic where you can kind of turn around your plane and go the other direction. So if you miss something, you can kind of go back and get it at times. But you just gotta watch out for respawning enemies, but it's pretty fun. Next we've got Mega Man 3. So I had played Mega Man 1 and 2. I never finished 3. I had gotten really far. I think I got to Wily's Castle. I just stopped for some reason, so I finally wanted to get back to it because I saw Mr. Matthews was making all those Mega Man videos, and it was fun. I enjoyed playing that one. Next, we got Zelda 2: Adventures of Link. Finally wanted to sit down and play this. I think it's better than the first Zelda game. Yeah, it's different, but I like the side-scrolling aspect. Some of the temples are tough, especially the last one. But draw yourself a map, you'll figure it out. We got Rygar, game I've been wanting to play for a while. I believe I saw Running Retro play it. I was like, I'm gonna sit down and play it. Again, it was one of those I just sat down, plugged it in, played it, beat it. It's fun, it's not that difficult. It's kind of have to pay attention to where you can go to get different upgrades and power-ups so you can progress to the next area. And then we got more Turtles month. First one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That it?
Everyone says this game is hard and annoying, and honestly it's not that bad. The dam level is not that bad. It gets harder after that, especially the hallway right before Shredder. But you learn, if you farm the scrolls, they become very handy in all the levels. And Shredder's a complete pushover, but it was fun. And then we follow that up with TMNT 2, the arcade game. Definitely more of the classic style Turtles games, the beat 'em ups. Really fun. Glad I sat down to beat that. And one of my favorite games I played this year, Silver Surfer.
Yes! Let's go!
This game is awesome. Everyone talks about how hard it is, and I think part of that is the AVGN video, but it's honestly not that bad. Sure, it could have used an auto fire button, or you just held the button down. But if you don't like that, just use turbo. But it's just a good shooter, and it's not as hard as people make it out to be. You just gotta learn the patterns like every shooter. It's a good game though. Another shooter we got is Abadox. Beat this early on in the year. I just had this for a while. I was like, let's play Abadox. And it was fun. It's just annoying. Right at the end, I went to go take my picture of the end screen, and I barely touched my NES. And you guys know who have NESs. That messes up sometimes, so it kind of glitched the ending, so it looked weird, but I beat it. Next, another request was Rockin' Cat.
That it?
Beat this for, I think, Jim Maxey. This game is really fun. It is a solid game on the NES. Interesting use of using the punching glove to kind of grab onto things and swing the platform. It's pretty cool. Alright, you guys know how damn good it felt to beat this game. Ghosts and Goblins.
Yes! Let's go! Yes! Let's go! Woo!
Hate this game. It's broken and it's bullshit at times. But I sat down and got it done, and it felt so good. Never have to play it again. It's not as bad as I made it out to be. Now that I know more about it, I understand it more, it's better. It's still not that good of a game. Play the other games in the series. Next we got Guerrilla War. This is an amazing game on the NES. Run and gun shooter. I don't know what took me so long to play it. Finally sat down and played it, and I loved it. Next, Adventure Island 2.
Oh, we did it.
I loved Adventure Island 1. Let's play through the other games in the series. And that game is phenomenal. I love the use of the dinosaurs that you can use. That one I think took me 7 hours to beat in one night, but it was fun. The next, Adventure Island 3.
There it is.
Very similar to Adventure Island 2. Not a whole lot of differences. You still have your animal dinosaur buddies. Definitely easier than 2, and it's just a really good game. If you like Adventure Island, you gotta play these games. Next was a gift from J-Love, and that is Super Mario 3 Mix.
Boom, 3 hits.
Love Super Mario Bros. 3, so it's awesome that she sent me this hack, and it is phenomenal. Between that Return to Dinosaur Land on the Super Nintendo and Super Mario 3 Mix, those are, I mean, obviously I've not played a lot of hacks, but those are probably 2 of the best. They are amazing. It's just Super Mario Bros. 3, but different levels. And it's so cool to be able to play those different levels and kind of like experience a Super Mario Bros. 3 game all over again. Then another game I absolutely loved was Blaster Master. This is actually the first game I've ever left my console on to beat. Because there's no saves. You know, he's got to beat the whole game in one sitting, and there are limited continues. So I remember I'd be playing it for a couple hours, and then I died, and I'd have to start over, and so I got a little bit further, and I was like, I'm just going to leave my console on because I don't want to have to do this all over again. And it was really fun. Then we beat Mega Man 3, so I had to beat Mega Man 4. I probably like Mega Man 3 more. I heard Mega Man 4 was easier, but I don't know, I kind of had trouble with it. But we got it done. And then finally, the last NES game I beat this year, the Battle of Olympus. So this was really cool. A bunch of us in the community. It was me, Jay Chip, Eugene, T-Belly, Jim Maxey. I believe that was it. If I'm forgetting someone, sorry. Did I say Megadan? We kind of did a community playthrough of this where we used each other to help each other. We didn't look up any guides or hints online. And we just kind of played it old school like you would back in the day and then talk to your friends at recess if you get stuck or something. But it's a pretty fun game. Very similar to Zelda 2. I don't know if I loved it, but it's pretty good. Alright, final console, PS4, and I am parched. This is taking a long time, so we better finish this egg up. So damn good. Let's get to PS4 games. We beat 23 games on the PS4. First one, Little Nightmares. So it's a pretty fun game. I don't love it as much as other people do. I have the sequel, I haven't played it yet. But I do like the atmosphere of that game. Next we've got Darksiders War Master Edition, another kind of God of War clone, which overall was pretty cool. But there was a part towards the end, you basically got this ability to like open up portals and go through them, kind of like the game Portal. And that got kind of annoying, especially since you had to do it in like 3 sections of this level. And it got very repetitive very quickly. Other than that, game was phenomenal. Next we got Daymare 1998. This was very, what's the word? Underwhelming. I expected more because it's supposed to be kind of like your Silent Hill, your Resident Evil of the 90s, and it was just kind of bleh. Graphics weren't good, the set pieces weren't that good, story wasn't that good, it was kind of all disjointed. I don't know, I say skip it. Next we got 2 games on here. We got Outlast and Outlast Whistleblower.
Oh, of course. No, I don't want to. Guess you have to.
I know Whistleblower is actually the DLC, but counted as a beat. These games are really fun. I'm so glad I finally sat down and played it. Kind of freaky. You watch my stream, there's definitely times where I freaked out a little bit, but I'm looking forward to play Outlast 2 now. Next we got Dark Pictures Anthology's Little Hope. I love Until Dawn. I love Man of Medan. Little Hope might be my favorite in the series so far. It is phenomenal. And I played it because I knew House of Ashes was coming out. So I haven't played that one yet, but this one's really cool. Then we got Horizon Zero Dawn. This was another Cartridge Club Game of the Month, so it gave me a reason to finally sit down and play it. I had tried it multiple times. I just could not stick with it. Finally did, and it's really good. And definitely do the Frozen Wilds DLC before you finish the game. Next, we got Uncharted 4. Last couple years, I had beaten the first 3 Uncharted games. I've kind of wanted to go back and finally finish it. Definitely the best game in the series by far. It is so good. Highly recommend it. Next, we got Maneater. This game is awesome. You play as a shark who upgrades and evolves to attack this fisherman that killed your mom. So cool. You can get super cool armor as you go. Kind of slow at the beginning, but once you get into the game, it's awesome. Next, we got Siggy, a fart for Melusina. This game is so weird. So you see this girl that you're interested in, and you fart, and she runs away. So you chase after her to save her. And it's a super short game. You can beat it in like 30 minutes, but it's super funny. And you should try it out. Next, probably my favorite series of games that I played this year, and that is the Blaster Master Trilogy on PS4. So we got Blaster Master 0, 1, 2, and 3. 1 is basically a remake of the first game on NES, but with quality of life improvements. You can save, there's a map, great. And obviously 2 and 3 just continue the story. It seemed like each game I played took more to get into, but once I got into it, I really liked it. I'd probably say, though, my interest waned in the series as it went on. 3 is definitely the worst, 2nd is better, and then 1st is the best. And we got Spider-Man Miles Morales. If you like Spider-Man on PS4, you need to play Miles Morales. Yes, it's short, but it's a damn good game. And Miles Morales has some really cool powers. And we got Trover Saves the Universe. This is another backlog roulette game for the Super Enabler Brothers podcast. And it gave me a chance to play more PSVR. And the game's hilarious. From the creators of Rick and Morty, it's super funny. The dialogue is hilarious. The story is awesome. You gotta play it. Then I decided to play Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8. I loved Resident Evil 7. It's one of my favorite games in the series, so I was excited for this one. This one is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as scary as 7, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. I liked the fear factor and the freakouts of 7. And 8 just didn't have it. It just felt more action-y. Still a great game, but I like 7 more. And since I had so much fun with a modern Resident Evil game, I finally sat down and played Resident Evil 2 Remake. And wow, is this game phenomenal. So much better than the original game. Man, the remake is amazing. And man, Mr. X, super annoying every time I wanted to go somewhere, and he was always there, and I had to sit and wait for him to leave. I did. Next we got Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. Love the Lego games. This was a lot of fun. I started playing years 5 through 8, but I stopped. I gotta get back to it. But if you like Harry Potter, it's a good game. We've got Close to the Sun. So this really reminds me of BioShock without all of the combat and stuff. You get a message from your sister who is aboard this ship. I think it's called the Helios, that Tesla has created, and something weird has happened, so you're trying to go on there and investigate what happens. Super cool. Love the Art Deco style. Like I said, very similar to BioShock. And it's a relatively short game. Next, we got Evoland. So this is really cool. I'm not into RPGs, but I was very intrigued by this because basically you evolve the game as you go. So you start out and you can only move one direction. So you get an upgrade. Oh, now you can move left and right. Then you get another upgrade, and now enemies start to appear. And now you get another upgrade, and becomes there's music added to the game. And obviously it upgrades really fast at the beginning, and then as you go you get fewer upgrades. So I kind of wish it took longer to upgrade the game, but it was still a lot of fun. I have not played the sequel yet, but I want to. And the game I was super excited to finally get, Streets of Rage 4. So I got the big limited edition one that came with the stash and everything, so it took forever to get here. And like so many other people were playing it, and I just had to avoid all spoilers, and they did a phenomenal job. Super good. I know a lot of people say it's now their favorite game in the series. It's still not as good as 2 in my opinion, but it's very good. They did an excellent job with it. I love all the characters you can unlock. I need to go through and finish it with every character. And finally, the last game we've got here is probably my game of the year. I loved this game. I don't know what took me so long to play it. That's Days Gone. This is basically Walking Dead meets Last of Us. It's an open world. You're on a bike. Zombie apocalypse happens. You lose your girlfriend. You try to find her. The story was gripping. The action was good. The hordes were freaky, trying to fight hundreds of these zombies at once. It's so good. It was kind of glitchy at first, but they've updated and fixed that. You gotta play it. It is so much fun. There you go, guys. There are all 125 games I've beaten this year, and woo, man, that took a long time. So thank you for sticking with me. Let me know what your thoughts are on some of these games I beat. What games did you beat? What are some of the favorite games that you beat? Do any of these games sound interesting to you that you maybe haven't played yet, now you want to? Let me know. But here's to 2022. Really have no gaming goals this year. Just kind of see how many games I can beat. So thanks everybody for watching. Until next time, this is Captain Algebra, signing off.